Hi everyone. Today I want to talk about my husband. Not the perfect version of him, the real version. The man who didn't always get it right. The man who was exhausted and broken and running out of trust after years of living with my addiction. The man who almost didn't come to the hospital when I became paralyzed from the waist down. And then he did. I had been sober for 4 months when my body stopped working on December 21st, 2010. I was paralyzed from the waist down. I couldn't move anything. The paramedics came and put me on a stretcher to get me out to an ambulance. My mom happened to be at our house and she contacted Gary. And Gary was at Taekwondo with the kids. Gary wasn't going to come to the hospital. He didn't trust me. 4 months of sobriety, I could have done anything to cause this. As 11 p.m. was approaching, there was still no Gary. No phone call. He didn't show up. He didn't call my mom back. About that same time, the hospital staff started discussing with me the fact that they were going to move me to a hospital about 15 miles away. They did this because they could do more tests on me at this other hospital, and they had no clue what was going on, so they needed to do further testing. Again, Gary's reason for not coming to the hospital was trust. He didn't trust me yet. He saw me through an alcoholic addiction lens. What'd she do now? What'd she do to herself? Is this real, or has she done something again? That is what addiction does to a family. It doesn't just hurt the addict. It rewires the brains of everyone around them. I was transported to the downtown hospital. And when I arrived, they put me in a room with another lady. It was now about 2 a.m. This lady was wailing and moaning. Then the staff need to know my weight. They wanted to put me in a hoist. They're hoisting me up above the bed. And as that's happening, my hero, Gary, walks into the room. And Gary does what he always does. He takes charge of the situation. He got me out of that room and down from the hoist. It took a lot for Gary to show up that night. This was a man whose wife had lied to him, stolen from him, scared him, and broken his heart more times than either of us could count. He had every reason to protect himself. Every reason to keep his distance until he knew what was happening. He came anyway at 2 a.m. and took care of me. That's who Gary is. I was in the hospital for 10 days. The doctors ran every test imaginable: spinal tap, neurological exams, imaging, everything. And they couldn't find a single medical explanation as to why I was paralyzed. Then, after about 7 days, I felt something. My 3 little toes on the right side moved. I was ecstatic. Just a little, just enough, but they moved. And from there, feeling and movement returned slowly until I had made a full recovery. No medical explanation then, and no medical explanation now. The doctors later connected to the childhood sexual abuse that I had only begun to remember 5 years after, in 2015. My body finally releasing what my mind had carried for decades. My 10 days in the hospital included Christmas. Gary, with the kids, brought Christmas to the hospital. On Christmas morning, he gathered up gifts and decorations. What made this Christmas like no other is what Gary did, not just for me, but for our family. And this was my first sober Christmas in years. I was present, truly and completely present. No fog, no substances, no hiding behind anything. Just me, a wife, a mom, awake and clear-eyed and there. My children had never seen that before. 9 and 11 years old, and they had never seen their mom happy and drawing strength from within rather than from a bottle or a pill. I watched their faces that morning, and I understood for the first time exactly what sobriety meant, not to me, but to them. Gary gave me that. He gave our family that. He could have stayed home. He brought Christmas instead. And then came 8 good years. We got a camper and we used it. Colorado, Wyoming, Texas, Missouri. Our family packed up and went adventuring together. Mountains and rivers and campfires and starry skies and kids growing up in the most beautiful way. Gary and I rebuilt, slowly, imperfectly, and with a lot of grace on both sides. The man who had threatened to leave more times than I can count became my partner in the truest sense. We laughed, we camped, we raised our children together with clear eyes and present hearts. Those 8 years are proof that the other side does exist, that a marriage can survive addiction, that the hard seasons are not the whole story. Gary, if you're watching this, thank you for staying, for showing up at 2 a.m., for bringing Christmas to the hospital, for all of it. You are my hero in the most real and unglamorous and beautiful sense of that word. This week's question for all of you: who has shown up for you at 2 a.m., literally or figuratively, when they had every reason not to? And have you told them what it meant? The people who stay when staying is hard are the rarest and most precious people in this world. Don't let them go without telling them. I'll see you next week. Thank you for being part of this journey with me.